and welcome to Blue Girls Video Podcast. I'm going to try this again. I had some difficulty with the last one. So I'm going to be covering dreams from September 2014 and September 2014 and October 2014. Okay, so the first dream is 4 clocks. There was this room with 2 beds. A gay guy offered someone to stay with him since he isn't home much anyway. There are 4 different clocks, each with different times. Not sure what correct time is, 10:15. Need to get to class. There are a couple of Mexican women in the back that say Arizona. Someone confiscates some rifles and is walking in the hall with them. Okay, so this gay guy, he's not home that much because he's got a boyfriend, right? So he said, oh, you can just, stay over at his place. I think he had like an extra bed or whatever, And so, because he's not there that much. So, and I trusted him. So there are 4 different clocks. Okay, so the 4th, it could be the 4th, April, the 4th. But there was different times. So it could have been some error that I made with not filling out something correctly, not having the right times, the dates. And so 10:15, that could be October 15th, I think. Need to get to class. I wasn't in school at the time. So I remember this. I don't know what this was about. It says Arizona, and when this dream took place, I was in the Pacific Northwest. But so whatever, they were somewhere and they were like in the back. They attended some class. It wasn't like a college class. It was something that they had to attend. And so I don't know what this RIFLES was about. That was kind of weird, but this did take place in Arizona. So the truth. I went to a bank regarding a checking account and met with some guy. As I was walking, I was talking about my job experiences. I said, I've been threatened with a gun and a baseball bat, so I'm not too hip on working. I was sitting next to this positive woman who wanted to share her journal, notebook of her writing. I mentioned my writing is my dreams. Someone is following me. Isn't that considered stalking? Someone wanted to know why I have a P.O. box. There is this old Roman building in a foreign country that I am seeing, and recall the image from a previous dream a long time ago. So, I don't know what this was about. Okay, I met with a guy at a bank regarding my checking account. And I don't know why I was telling him my job experiences unless I have worked at a bank before, banks or whatever. So, but in this it says, well, I was threatened with a gun. I don't remember that. You think I would remember that, don't you think? And a baseball bat. The baseball bat I remember, and I also had this woman tell me that she was going to beat me. And I have a strong feeling that's what she would say to her 5-year-old. So I said, well, I'm not too hip on working because I have a disability and I'm easy prey. Like they can sense that I'm weird or different. And so I'm kind of easy prey. And I don't know why somebody would do that to me, say that or whatever. The baseball bat, that was actually a manager and it wasn't funny. And then that other woman, I think that she, talked that way to her child. Anyway, yeah, so I don't know. So I was with this positive woman. She wanted to share her journal. And I said, well, mine are my writings. So I said, someone is following me. Isn't that considered stalking? Yeah, well. And, this entire time, I thought it was, okay, this is 2014 and 2022. This entire time, I thought it was somebody from the bank that was following me. Right, because that's where I get my whatever money. Well, who doesn't, right? So, but I think it has to do with somebody else or some other organization. Not to be paranoid, but I think that it's not like someone is like stalking, but I've had some strange things like. I'll look up my name and there's people who've looked up my name, and there's pictures of, kind of my social media. And and then I've seen a picture of me in a university that I never graduated with a bachelor's, and there shouldn't be any picture. It was really bizarre. So I've had some bizarre things happen. And I mean, there's more things. I've had just bad dreams where, I wake up and someone's in my room. That's part of the PTSD. But I've just, other things too. Anyway, I kind of went off on that. I didn't mean to. So yeah, why do I have a P.O. box? Well, sometimes I have a P.O. box because I'm in between places and I don't want to miss any, any mail. And sometimes I've lived in small towns, and the only way you can really get your mail is by a P.O. box. So I remember that I saw the side of a Roman building in a foreign country, and so I do believe I have had a past life in Italy, Greece, Rome. I'm not sure, but I do believe that. White guy. There is a guy sitting at his desk. He looks like the clean-cut white guy from the June 13, 2014 entry, 3 people. I have a blank form. Okay. Okay, so Piggy. This woman had been to this place a couple of times, and this time she brought me. There's a woman with blonde hair that resembles someone from my past. She didn't say anything to me. Some girl really likes you and asking about me on the phone. Piggy. Okay, so there was this woman who was a lesbian or bisexual, I don't know. But she was interested in me. I don't know why. I don't think I even met her. But anyway, in real life or in the dream. And so anyway, the reason why I say the word Piggy is because she physically looked like Miss Piggy. Not to be weird, but that's why. I think maybe she had a nose like Miss Piggy. I don't know, but I just remember that's what it was. That's why I called her Piggy, because she looked like Miss Piggy. 1:30. Someone brought this paper bill to a guy. He was on the internet at night. A dog is nipping at someone's ankle. 1:30. I guess the bill was for 1:30. Circular. I'm outside and I hail a cab. Someone writes upside down on a shirt. Some girl likes some boy. There is a classroom and chairs are set in a circular direction. This one guy sees this one blonde-haired girl. Several people are walking on a path in the desert. I am high up on a cliff, and with the next step, the scenery changes and is dangerous. I'm afraid and do not proceed any further. Well, okay, so I hail a cab. I do believe this dream, I was in the Pacific Northwest when I had this dream, and I think that the dream took place in the Pacific Northwest, except for at the end, which I'll discuss. So I don't know, I was sitting across from this woman. I can see her now. She's got like dark hair, dark brown hair. And so she writes upside down on a skirt. And this is the second time I've seen heard the word skirt. It was like 130. She writes, some girl likes some boy. So it's September 4th, right? So whatever was supposed to happen didn't happen because some girl likes some boy and he was given the job, apartment, or whatever. I don't know. Oh, there it is. This one guy sees this one girl, blonde hair. Okay, so it was like in a classroom. Okay, so I remember this was kind of an interesting part of the dream. I was walking on a path in the desert, right? And eventually I did end up living in the desert. And so I was with a group of people and we were taking a hike or whatever. I do not know why we were walking so high up, but I was walking or hiking or whatever. And so but what happened was it was like the end of the end of the cliff or whatever. And so I was going to take the next step, but I did not do it. I did not proceed any further because I was afraid. And if I would have taken that step, what happened was the scenery changed in the dream from desert to forest. So I got scared and I stopped. I still do not know to this day where that forest was. It could have been South Lake Tahoe. I don't know. I just remember that. And it wasn't, the trees weren't really green, so that kind of rules out the Pacific Northwest. So I don't know exactly where that was in the dream. And teenage girl. Okay, some teenage girl is sitting down at some event, possibly church. She sees this black lady sitting down in front of her, and some other girl that there tells her she had a boyfriend for 2 years. Her friend next to her takes a picture of her. Some guy mentions about working on the building, something about 35 years. Okay, so what it is it was some event that was going on in a small church, some service, and this girl showed up, and there was a black lady there, and I guess that she told somebody that she had a boyfriend for 2 years, and I think that they were serious. It was a serious relationship. So there was some kind of maintenance guy there and something about 35 years. So I don't know if that's how old the building was or how old he was or whatever, or I'm not sure, but they were working on the building. Past life relived. I was pleading with this guy with brown hair. I wanted someone to bring me somewhere, Oregon River. I mentioned something about physical death. I wasn't supposed to be there, and they were supposed to come to get me. They left me there and I died. Then there's a room full of people's stored items. I woke up on September 7th thinking jealousy. So this is September 6th, 2014. I do remember waking up thinking, the first word I thought of was jealousy when I woke up on September 7th. So I remember kind of pleading with this guy with brown hair, like I wanted to go to Oregon and come pick me up and this and that. And I mentioned something about a physical death. I wasn't supposed to be there, and they're supposed to come back there to get me. They left me there and I died. Okay, so when I was in my 20s, late 20s, I saw a healer. And hang on a second. So we have a guest here. It's a dog. So anyway, back to the dream. So okay, when I was in my late 20s, I had this healer do a healing on me, right? And this was trippy. So what happened was, and I never wrote it all down, but what happened was that during this dream, or during the healing, there he is. During the healing, I saw things and I felt things. Like I physically had rigor mortis. Like my body couldn't move. My body physically could not move. And this was very strange. And then it said the word black. So what happened was I died. And what I saw was I was imprisoned. And I do believe this took place in Italy or Rome. I don't know where else it could take place at. And I was in a dungeon. And I was lying down. It wasn't a bed or anything. It was really strange. And then there was a guy who I called, and this came later, the jolly, what is that, the jolly good giant or whatever you call him? The jolly green giant, right? Because he was big. I'm talking like 6 or 7 feet tall. And so what I remember, what I saw was I was lying down and there was a window. So where the stairs were, you could see him walk up there. And he had like long legs, he was just big guy, right? And so that's what I remembered. And I do not know why I was there. The healer lady, we were trying to figure out why I was there. And she mentioned something about stealing. And I had, my mind went blank. There were other things that were going on at the time period or whatever. And my mind went blank. There was nothing, right? And so right in here, and this happened in real life. Okay, I mentioned something about I wasn't supposed to be there. It could be I wasn't supposed to be in there. and they were supposed to come back there to get me. They left me there, and I died. So this is 2014, so it's 2022 now, and this is going to be aired 2029. So what happened was something not really the same, but similar. I went into this, where I was living, it was a small town in the Southwest, right? And I went in there. This was really bizarre. And I went in there, and this lady goes, well, you're not supposed to be in here. And I'm like, what? And I guess that some woman stole something. And I was like, what? And I was like, it wasn't me, because when I would go in there, I would grab like a pop or whatever. Sometimes I would like walk there or whatever and grab a fountain drink. Sometimes I would be like with other people, like from transportation, right? And I said, that wasn't me. Well, I don't know if that's what I said, but it wasn't me. And so I think it was some girl who looked like me, but it was really bizarre. And so she apologized or whatever, but, I didn't go back in there because I was like, what are you talking about? I was I was innocent, but I was like, and it just kind of spooked me because I didn't know what she was even talking about, And so anyway, she apologized, but that was weird. So that's why I thought that maybe I wasn't supposed to be in there because something was stolen and they were going to come back. Somebody was going to come back and get me. Come back from where, I don't know. But anyway, so that's enough for the stream. Light. There was a house with some blonde-haired girl with some other people sitting at a kitchen table. She moved her bed with its bedding into her room. She didn't like something about my personality, so I quit talking to her. I was on the phone having a long conversation with my relatives. 4. There was a route. Parts of it were circular. Some of it was positive and had light. Okay, so some girl, she didn't like something about my personality. Well, I remember a long time ago, someone told me when I was late teens, there's always going to be somebody that's not going to like you. So whatever, I quit talking to her. So I was having a long conversation with my relative. So that was probably my cousin in the dream, and that would happen in real life. It could have been my aunt too, but I think it was my cousin in this. So there was a route, and some of it was positive and had light. So wherever I was going to go to next was positive and had light. And I don't think it had anything to do with this girl. It was somewhere else I was going to go. Paper. I was walking around with a piece of paper in my hand. A woman was around me, needing rest. Can you see him? There he is. Okay. So I see a different city, an ocean. A woman is driving me, and we drove all the way to Boston. Same woman in previous dream. There's a woman with brown, dark hair sitting at a table. She said she needs rest. Okay, so needing rest. So in this dream, I saw a different city, an ocean. And at the time, this was 2014, so I had not been to Boston. I have been to Boston, I would say, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I've been to Boston a couple times. One was this kind of a layover kind of thing. But anyway, so it was the same woman in the previous dream sitting at a table. And so, what happened in real life is I did go into an apartment, and so when I was on the phone, the manager or whatever would call me in the morning. And I would be so groggy and not awake because I was having really bad nightmares and dreams. So I would sound all, screwed up on the phone or not really awake. And so she said that I needed rest. And I didn't need rest because I was having such bad dreams. I just, something about the Pacific Northwest, there's a certain city. And whenever I go in there, there's just constant, just spiritual warfare. It's just all kinds of really things that are going on in my dreams. Left pocket. This girl went over to her neighbor's place who was outside. She had about 5 children running around the yard. This girl had an address on a notebook and wanted help. 2 in a week. Then some guy put his hand in her left back pocket. This other guy asked for a pen. Okay, excuse me. So, yeah, I don't know what was going on here. I think I went to a woman who had like all these kids. She lived in a trailer park and there was 5 kids. I don't know if they were all hers. I think they were. So, 3 women. There are several women in this dream. A blonde-haired girl, different from the rest. Another woman with full figure with a party-positive attitude who is intimate with a man. There's a video store. And 2 teenage girls slip 2 VHSs in their side pocket and walk off with it from the store. Some women saw them doing it, but said nothing. Then there is either a Native American or a Mexican man in front of someone. He has tattoos of sailboats on his face. Something about happens to his face. Then some woman who I trust has pieces of this journal of my big book originals. Okay. So, yeah, I remember, okay, so this woman, she was voluptuous. She had, full figure woman. She had a party attitude. I think of like California, but she's probably from California, but she wasn't in California in this dream. So whatever, this is when they had video stores and and so 2 teenage girls slipped VHSs in their side pocket, which I don't know how they could do that unless they had cargo pantses, but that's kind of, you can't really put them in your pocket because they're not they're big. So that was a little bizarre. So I don't know, how they did that, but some woman saw them do it and, that was working there and it didn't say anything. I think she was kind of afraid or whatever, And then in the dream, this Native American guy was right in front of me. It wasn't a Mexican man. It was a Native American. I don't know. And he was right in front of me. It was so bizarre because I saw his face and then he had a tattoo of a sailboat. But the more I think about it now, it was kind of like an image of a sailboat. Like there was his face, and it was like there was like a sailboat on it, like of somebody, like a screen or whatever. And it was like, let's say there's a picture of this guy, and then a sailboat was on it, like added to it. I don't know, but anyway, that was kind of bizarre. It was a tattoo. It was kind of strange, but anyway. Red fingernails. There was this woman with red fingernail polish sculpture pointing her finger. This one guy kept on coming down and sitting on the bench over and over, so they removed the bench so that he wouldn't come down to talk to them. I mentioned how I don't stay long. There was this guy with gray hair who showed me a map working underneath him. Gemini and Pisces don't work well together. The woman lied about not calling me every day when she did. I knew this was going to happen. Okay, so I remember this dream really because it's like this woman had really, nice fingernails, fake whatever nails, and she pointed her finger at me like right in front of my face, okay? And I physically remember, well, there was another time that happened too, but she was pointing her finger at me. It might have been the same lady. I don't know. It could have been somebody else. But anyway, so, I think that in this dream, that I, moved her finger away, so don't point your finger at me. That could have been another dream, but anyway. So this guy kept on coming, who lived at this apartment complex, actually the same apartment complex that I was living at in real life, but there wasn't a guy like that. And there was a bench. He kept on coming down there over and over again, waiting to talk to the staff, but. So they removed the bench because they didn't want him coming down there all the time. And that never happened, and I've never seen the guy there, so. And then I mentioned how I don't stay long, which is true, at the time anyway. Yeah, so whatever, I guess if they were going to have me work with this guy, and they didn't think that it would be compatible, whoever it was. And so the woman lied. The woman was the manager about not calling me every day when she did. She did call me every day, like I was saying about the dreams, right? And I said I knew this was going to happen. So, running. Saw some guy running, possibly former landlord. It was a former landlord, and all I saw was the back of him, and I don't know why he was running. think he was at his job and he was just kind of in a rush. I don't know. So the last one is titled Cartoons. This is going to be September, the end of September. That's all I can get in this video. I was at some house. Some child boy showed me something. I mentioned cartoons. That's the end of it. So thank you for watching.